When she left, nothing dramatic happened. No music. No closure speech. No final explanation that made sense. Life stayed exactly the same. The same room, the same phone, the same mornings. But something inside him went quiet. At first, it felt like panic. That tight, suffocating feeling in your chest when you realize the person you built your entire day, your entire world around, is suddenly gone. He spent weeks replaying conversations, scrolling through old messages like they were clues in a detective story. He was looking for the exact moment, the tiny fracture where things started to break. That phase didn't make him weak. It made him human. It's a stage we all go through, trying to find a reason, a logical cause for an emotional storm. He stopped eating properly. Sleep became a luxury that arrived late and left early. Work felt pointless. Not because he didn't care about his job or his responsibilities, but because caring about anything hurt too much. Every bit of emotional energy was being consumed by the loss. What no one ever tells you about heartbreak is this: it doesn't just ruin your life, it interrupts it. And these interruptions are dangerous because they give you far too much time to think. Your mind becomes a battlefield, replaying every mistake, every missed opportunity. You're trapped in a loop of what-ifs and if-onlys. But then, an uncomfortable truth started to creep in. The world wasn't waiting for him to heal. The bills kept coming. The deadlines at work didn't just disappear. People still expected answers, they still expected him to show up. Life didn't pause just because he was hurting. At first, that realization felt incredibly cruel, almost disrespectful. How could the world just keep spinning when his had stopped? But slowly, very slowly, that same harsh reality became grounding. It became an anchor. He realized he had been living inside one single emotional room for far too long. Her absence didn't just leave a gap in his life. It exposed how much of his own identity had been built around one person. It was like a building with one main support column, and when that column was removed, the whole structure started to wobble. And that's when things quietly shifted. It wasn't overnight. It wasn't some dramatic movie-style revenge glow-up you see on social media. It was just a series of small, almost unnoticeable decisions. He started waking up earlier, not to be more productive or to start a new fitness routine, but simply to escape his own thoughts. The early morning quiet was less daunting than the late-night silence. He started working longer hours. Not to prove anything to anyone, but because the structure of work felt safer than the chaos of his emotions. It was a place where effort had a clear outcome, unlike the messy world of relationships. The pain didn't disappear. That's a common misconception. It got redirected. It was channeled into something else. And that's the part of healing that no one ever romanticizes. Growth after heartbreak isn't always inspiring. It's awkward, it's clumsy. You still miss them terribly, but at the same time, you start meeting yourself again like an old friend you haven't seen in years. He began to see his life with a new, uncomfortable clarity. The personal goals he had postponed for the sake of the relationship. The self-discipline he had conveniently avoided. The comfort he had mistaken for true happiness. Losing her didn't make him stronger. Facing reality did. The reality of his own shortcomings, his own neglected ambitions. He stopped asking the paralyzing question, why did she leave? And started asking a much more powerful one. What was I ignoring while she was here? That one question changes everything. It shifts the focus from victimhood to ownership. He realized that love, for him, had become a distraction from personal responsibility. Not intentionally, of course. It was subtle. It was easy to put his own growth on the back burner when the relationship felt like the main project. And now, that distraction was gone, so he leaned into the uncomfortable. Long days at the office. Quiet nights with books instead of screens. No one was clapping for him. There were no congratulatory messages. It was just silent, invisible progress that only he could feel. Success didn't arrive loudly, with a bang. But confidence did. And it wasn't the loud, look-at-me kind of confidence. It was a calm, quiet assurance. The kind that comes from knowing, deep down, that you can survive emotional devastation and still move forward. The kind that comes from keeping promises to yourself. One day, he looked around his life and noticed something strange. He wasn't building a life to be chosen anymore. He wasn't trying to become the kind of person someone else would want. He was building a life that made sense to him, even if he was alone. A life that felt solid and meaningful on its own. And that's when he finally understood the real lesson. The lesson wasn't that she was wrong to leave. It wasn't that heartbreak is a necessary ingredient for growth. The real lesson was that life rewards the people who return to it, the people who show back up, not bitter, not resentful, just present. Heartbreak didn't make him successful. Responsibility did, clarity did. Choosing to stand up when no one was watching did. And the simple, hard truth is this: most people don't fail because they lose someone. They fail because, in the aftermath, they never fully come back to themselves. They get lost in the grief, and they forget to reclaim their own lives. Thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, subscribe to Rise Together. We believe in growing quietly but growing strong. We'll see you in the next one.